Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here back in another video, and today I'm just going to give my opinion on the college football playoff top 25. I am going to be giving out my personal top 25, and I'm going to be doing this every week or every other week, so there's definitely going to be another episode just like this in the future. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. So, real quick, if you do not know the top 25, I'm going to go over it real quick. Alabama, number 1. Notre Dame, number 2. Number 3, Clemson. Number 4, Ohio State. Number 5, Texas A&M. Number 6, Florida. Number 7, Cincinnati. Number 8, Northwestern. Number 9, Georgia. Number 10, Miami. Number 11, Oklahoma. Number 12, Indiana. Number 13, Iowa State. Number 14, BYU, 15, Oregon, 16, Wisconsin, 17, Texas, 18, USC, 19, North Carolina, 20 is Coastal Carolina, 21, Marshall, 22, Auburn, 23, Oklahoma State, 24, Iowa, and 25, Tulsa. And a lot of people, I already know what the big headlines are going to be. BYU at 14, Georgia at 9, Wisconsin at 16, Iowa at 24, maybe Oregon at 15, and maybe Coastal and Marshall are a little too low. My personal is Alabama 1, Notre Dame 2, Ohio State 3, Clemson 4, Cincinnati 5, Texas A&M 6, Florida 7, BYU 8, Indiana 9, Miami 10, Oregon 11, Northwestern 12, Iowa State 13, Oklahoma 14, Georgia 15, Coastal Carolina 16, Texas 17, USC 18, Marshall 19, Oklahoma State 20, Tulsa 21, Wisconsin 22, Auburn 23, North Carolina 24, and 25 I have Louisiana. And this, we always know something crazy is going to happen in that initial one. And I think by far the big two are Georgia at 9 and BYU at 14. Zach Wilson with the Heisman years, he's having an incredible year. But the strength of schedule, BYU, it's really not impressive. And they fall to 14. And I'm not sure if nobody was expecting this. And if you look at the strength of schedule, it's understandable. But if you watch them play on the field, I think BYU is easily a top 12 team. And like I said, I have them at 8. So I'm very surprised about BYU. But I think Georgia at 9 is a bigger issue in my opinion. We saw them struggle this week versus Mississippi State, who's not a very good team this year. The only positive of last week's game is you found your future quarterback in JT Daniels, which everybody knew already. He was definitely going to be their future QB. But you have L's on your schedule. You did beat an Auburn at home. That's good. You did not look good versus Alabama. You finally lost to Florida. Florida is a good team. And I just don't think they are a top 10 team in general. Like I said, I have them at 15. So that is a 6-slot difference. And I'm just, if everything goes wrong, I just don't want there to be a way Georgia somehow gets in the playoff. And it's crazy to me that Georgia has a better chance to get into the playoff like in Indiana. Not Northwestern. Northwestern's one ahead. But like a BYU, in Indiana, maybe even Oregon if they clean the table. Tons of other teams that I just don't think that Georgia would beat right now. And that's just the big thing. But the big question going into this week was, where is Cincinnati going to be? And like I said, I have them at 5. They've really impressed me these last few weeks. And them at 7 really doesn't bother me. Also another thing before I talk about Cincinnati more, even though they have Northwestern at 8, I'm not mad about that. I personally think it's great coaching and a great defense, but I just don't think Northwestern would compete with teams like an Oregon, Miami, Indiana. But I don't have a problem with them at number 8 due to how well they played this year. And back to Cincinnati, it's not that I don't have an issue with it or I'm not surprised. I'm just really high on the Cincinnati team this year. And if, let's just say, Cincinnati clears the table and Florida beats Alabama in the SEC championship game, I think it's just going to be like 2017 to UCF. Cincinnati should have went in, and let's just say they go into a big bowl game versus an Indiana, and they obliterate them, or at least beat them really good. Everyone's going to say Cincinnati should have been in there. And I just think that Cincinnati's more deserving. Now, personally, I do think Florida would beat Texas A&M as of right now. And it's going to be a close game either way, but I think Florida would win the rematch. And I only have Texas A&M above Florida only because of the head-to-head. But definitely in the future, I would not be surprised if Florida takes over A&M. Other issues, Iowa. I don't see them even close to being a top 25 team in my opinion. I know they have history. I know they have good chemistry and good experience. But I think the talent of last year's team was way better than this year. My honorable mentions were San Jose State, Liberty, Washington, and I did have Iowa as an honorable mention, but that was at the bottom. I think Washington would beat Iowa. I think Liberty would beat Iowa. I think San Jose State would beat Iowa. And multiple other teams as well. And even Tulsa. I had Tulsa at 21. They had them at 25. If you had Iowa in there, I would put them at 25 at best. I think Tulsa is a way better team than Iowa. And I think Tulsa would have been higher if it wasn't for last week's game versus Tulane. And I do think Tulane is better than what their record says. But that great win by Tulsa should not be accounted for. Xavier Collins is just having a phenomenal year. He's not getting talked about a lot, which he really should be. He's one of the best linebackers in all college football, if not the best. I think Tulsa should definitely be higher. I had them over Auburn and Wisconsin. And Wisconsin at 16 is another issue for me. I knew the two wins before. They were decent wins, but I really didn't think they were good. And we've seen in the future, they definitely favor a few teams like Wisconsin and Georgia. I think Texas is better than Wisconsin. I think USC is better than Wisconsin, even though earlier today I was shaming USC. I think North Carolina would beat Wisconsin. Maybe even Auburn, Oklahoma State, and maybe even Coastal Carolina would beat Wisconsin. Since Minnesota sucked, I had Wisconsin as the second best team in the division. And they have been very disappointing in my opinion. And so, I just don't like that decision with Wisconsin at 16. I personally think Ohio State's better than Clemson. And I would definitely put Ohio State over them. But I do understand why Clemson's over them. And I think that's it on my issues. Coastal and Marshall are too low. I'm personally higher on them. Mine is definitely more similar to the AP than anything. So, those are just the main issues I have with the college football playoff. Overall, it's not that I like the order of the teams that I was expecting, but teams like Wisconsin, BYU, Georgia, Iowa especially, I don't think that they were ordered well. And you clearly seen that the teams that were good last year that are playing iffy this year, they are favoring over the teams that have looked really good so far this year, and we don't know from last year. I am happy that they didn't put Georgia over Cincinnati and Northwestern, because on how high I was watching it, seeing Georgia rise, I just had a feeling Georgia was going to be over both of them. Luckily, it wasn't, which I actually agree with. But, yeah, there's really no purpose this is just my initial reaction. Like I said in the past few episodes, this is what it was gonna be. I had no script, so if I was getting off topic, my bad. So yeah, in the comment section below, what is your opinion on the top 25 for the college football playoffs? Top 25, and who do you think is better, mine or the committees? So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Look out for one more video this week tomorrow. Like, share, subscribe, and like always, have a good day. Peace out.